Hello everyone, it's me, Empress Arcana, and welcome to my channel. I am uncertain if this is going to be my first podcast episode for Demystifying Me, which is something that I've been working on or thinking about for a while now. I haven't really been I'm trying so hard not to make any sudden movements because my chair is a squeaker and everything makes noise but either way, so Demystifying Me came to me as an idea, very much Empress Talks adjacent for anyone that has listened to my Empress Talks episodes. I haven't done that in a long while, but I have grown so much as an individual that I just, at this point, I don't think I want to continue doing Empress Talks, but I'm leaving that out in the open because this still is me talking. Empress is still talking, but she has also added a new quest on her hero's journey about demystifying herself more openly. Or naming it that, really, because I've been demystifying myself forever, I must admit. After my Kundalini awakening, my second spiritual awakening, which led to my Kundalini awakening around 2023, everything has just changed. Where's my water? I'm quite glamorous, I know. So true. Anyway, today's the Aquarius full moon, and I have so many thoughts about it already, or I've shared. I actually have a couple of videos that I want to post on my YouTube as well. The biggest thing for me has been trying to come back to a sort of schedule with my content, but because I've been going through such as many call it I forgot what, downward spiral, me every day. No, I'm trying to, dark night of the soul times forever, because I feel like every time I make an update, I'm like, oh, I'm having another dark night of the soul. And that's just like every Tuesday at this point, or today's Wednesday, but still, Mercury day. I think that I've missed doing these podcast episodes where I just talk because I'm a Gemini. I have a lot of things in my chart that are pointing me to just talk. And so this was very therapeutic for me before, but I want to return to it. And this is probably why, on a personal note, I'm returning to it in a way that feels more sacred. I have to admit, sacred for me, because when I created Empress Talks, I had another intention in mind, and I believe it worked. And I got to express myself, but along the way, on that journey, it was a very painful realization that I was being met with certain experiences that showed me that I have been abandoning myself and putting other people on pedestals and not seeing how amazing I am. And along the way, I got so confused because growing up, it was always about other people, never about myself. And whenever I wanted to express myself, that was a problem. And I've always felt exiled in some way when it comes to my beliefs. For the longest time, I've always known and felt that there's more to this world than what we can see with our physical eyes. And so Demystifying Me is meant to be a space, maybe even a community, hopefully, where I get to, and maybe others, but in regard to the podcast, where I get to dissect and talk about my natal chart, because she's a fascinating natal chart. She's not easy. I apologize. I haven't really slept very much at all. It's been really difficult in my home space at the moment. Oh, look at that. I pulled the strength card looking at it. Beautiful. Stand your ground, I heard as a channeled message. A message. I don't know why I said it that way. I want to go back to doing more of these because I feel that it is important for me to express my voice. And coming from an authentic place, more sovereign, knowing that the choices I make are mine, empowered. Unlike before, many of us make decisions based on, what we have currently available to us. But we never think of a third option, or most of us don't. We feel that we're stuck in the limitation of what we're presented with. During the last lunar node axis activation, which was Virgo South node and Pisces North node, I feel with all my heart, for me, it was a very difficult time with health because Virgo is about health, and not just for myself, I have a 12th house Virgo, not just the mental health, but also my physical body. Last year, the more that I have tried to follow societal norms in some way, or like compromising myself in several ways, that I've noticed that I never come out of that feeling better. So the office job that I had, I was laid off after the same day that I was getting out of the hospital, because last year we had, after the Virgo eclipse, I spoke about this in a video I'm going to be posting later, but after the Virgo eclipse last a year, like around October, we had 6 lunations at 28 degrees. I have a lot of 28 degrees in my own natal chart, so I had a lot of things being activated. And after I had to put my dog to sleep, my beautiful Nanako, which I've spoken about, I would post about, she had surgery last year, which she came out great from it, but unfortunately, she had congestive heart failure. She was not going to make it through the night, so I had to put her to sleep, and it was the most difficult decision of my life to then end up in the hospital afterward with certain complications from an infection. Like, they thought, I don't trust doctors. I have hot beef with doctors, not just because of personal experiences that I went through with my mother. I've been around doctors all my life due to my mother having been ill with a number of things, and my family has always been, unfortunately, very ill, especially the women. And it was such a bad experience, guys, but I don't want to go into that right now. It was such a horrible experience. I don't like the gaslighty nature of a lot of doctors, not all of them, but unfortunately the experiences I've had have been. And I analyze, I observe, because sometimes when you express too much, they want to pin you as like they have their own. It's an experience. How about that? I'm not going to go into it, but I will say this. They said it was one thing, and after that, after being pumped with antibiotics, like 6 different antibiotics, and I clearly am allergic to penicillin, and they still were like, oh, well, you don't have any other option, or maybe you have this, you have that. I was a guinea pig. Like most people, when it comes to medicine, we are guinea pigs. And I understand that it's a very complicated field, because all I asked for, though, was not to be treated as just another case. I wanted to be treated as an individual, and every body is different. And unfortunately, Western medicine, in my opinion, my humblest of opinions, it has gotten so saturated with it has to be a certain way and not enough exploration and understanding of what else could it be. But no, we're going by textbook, we're going by this. And sometimes, especially in my own personal experience, there has been more harm than good. I'm glad that I'm okay. I had to do a lot of like microbiome healing. Like I've had to do a lot of like digestive healing and stuff because they were saying I had diverticulitis. I'm still very cautious. I've been eating things that don't have seeds. I don't eat nuts. I like, there's a lot of things that I've had to cut off from eating. And unfortunately, when I was living with my cousins, I was living in a shed where I hardly had, like, there was electrical issues. There was like people that have stuck around and like listened to my Empress talks will understand. It was really bad conditions I was living in. I didn't even have money for food. So I had time where I couldn't eat. And one thing is to fast with preparation, but fasting without preparation is not healthy either. So it's not just saying, well, you were fasting. It doesn't work that way, bro. And it was a very bad time. And I had a lot of, there was a lot of abusive behavior that I went through and a lot of trauma with my family. And I'm not really in contact with them. I assist from time to time, but I keep my distance. Unfortunately, most of my family is dead. But the couple of people that are left, I have been shown that I love them from afar. I understand that people make mistakes or people don't understand because people project. People only know what they can perceive, what they are self-aware of. And some people are just not willing to do the inner work on themselves. And it's better to just point fingers. And I've learned that about myself too in a lot of other cases. But I've also not neglected where I feel that I've been hurt and where I have been things like, I feel a lot of people that say everything happens for a reason. We can find a lesson in everything, in my opinion. But there are things that I feel personally shouldn't happen to people. Horrible things that happen to people. I will never say, oh, that everything happens for a reason. Because looking at it detached with no emotion, okay. But when a person has gone through some trauma and some really deep shit, you don't tell them that. You don't tell them everything happens for a reason. I remember when my mother passed away in 2014, my father, the whole time that my mother was sick, take care of your mother, take care of your mother, take care of your mother. He was never, like, he was such an absent dad. It was me and my mom got really seriously ill. And it was a big turning point in my life. And then after she passed away, people were like, well, now you can live your life now. It's like, excuse me? I was told, take care of your mother. What's my mission now? What do I do with my life? I spent the whole time caretaking and being hyper vigilant in my environment because I lived in a very chaotic home. I'm a child out of wedlock. My parents were never married. I was a black sheep. And unfortunately, on the outside, no. And it's funny because I say black sheep, but there are moments where it's like, oh, I can trust these people. No, I can't. There was a lot of realizations where people say things and it's not exactly and I can tell from the tone, their body language. I read patterns very well. I've like really gotten much better with analyzing my environments and not to the point of hypervigilance, but also it's been so much training, I feel, on a spiritual level to understand how I can use my abilities, my sensitivities to my advantage, where I can actually be like, okay, so this person is projecting this or they're expressing themselves this way. I should not bring this up. It's not my business. That's another thing I've learned about. There are things that you just don't bring up because it's not your business. I've tried to make peace with my past and let go and not hold any grudges, but that's a really difficult one. And not for anyone else, as they say, forgive for yourself, but not for others. It is true. When you forgive, truly forgive, not just in theory. You're letting go of weight that you don't have to be carrying. But it's a very hard thing because if there's a memory of something that happened, that's going to resurface again. So I've had to do a lot of inner therapy, a lot of somatic therapy healing for myself as well. I go into trance a lot. Sometimes I go into 5-hour meditations. I don't do that often anymore because you need to have the time for that, right? I go deep into my psyche and I go into the quantum field. I've been following a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. He is very he's very popular in the TikToks, and I got into Dr. Joe sometime, I believe 2024 December, November, around there, when I moved back to Miami, around there when I started watching Gaia TV. And I'm very glad because I really like his work. I have his books. I've gotten so many metaphysical books and such because I want to understand my body. Like I said earlier, every body is different. Every energy field is different. We are energy. We are made up of energy. And depending on how we feel, it is indicative of how we're going to express ourselves out into the world. A lot of that so I have a metaphysical book somewhere. I actually do the meditations very often because it's light work meditation where I tap into healing rays to help me heal parts of my body. And I've learned, and this is actually so cool, guys, once you truly believe that your word is the words coming out of your mouth, what you say, what you think, your beliefs are what build and what make your reality as real as it does. And your experience of reality, you realize that you can reprogram yourself in ways that are beneficial to your success. And what I have done for myself, I was never taught any of this growing up because I lived in an environment where no one would take accountability. No one had integrity. Everyone was just trying to take advantage of others. And this is family-wise too. Or the mask of, or the gaslighting of, we care for you. Do you? So I'm also healing my distrust with family, with people, with communities, because everyone seems to have an agenda, or they don't take certain accountability of how they're expressing themselves online or in public spaces. And it's so important to realize what's coming out of your mouth. Even now I'm like, oh God, I'm talking about all these painful things. Why am I doing that? Because I feel like it. And that's it. That's what I would do with Empress Talks as well. I was a big old mess recording those podcasts. It's okay. It's what makes me human. And I forgot about that. I forgot that what makes me human, I need to express myself. It's part of my healing. And I stopped because I felt exploited. I felt that I just felt so hurt by certain people, experiences. I told myself, I gotta close up. No one actually cares. No one truly cares. People just want to consume information, but not truly be there for someone else. I'm still healing those wounds, by the way, because I know that if I want to succeed in what I want to do, whatever that is at this point, I have to let go of the pain. I felt that I felt that I hit rock bottom again and again and again. And the times I thought I couldn't hit deeper rock bottom, I thought rock bottom was it. Oh no, there was layers to the rock bottom. I was like, God dang it. And I still have, like, I listen to people and I have a moment of like, do they understand what they just said? Do they understand what just came out of their mouth? And I feel that with this Aquarius full moon, this culmination of the last 6 months, I don't have the patience or capacity to censor myself as much anymore. Like, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm ready to talk again. I'm ready to express myself, even if I might not look as or sound as Libra rising or Cancer Mercury of me or my Cancer MC. I do care, but I have bite. I've earned that bite. I've earned my fangs. I've earned that because people can be really cruel and you have to protect yourself. You have to discern. I didn't have proper discernment back in, let's say, 2023, 2022, even 2024. I started learning more about discernment last year. And I started realizing, wow, the things that come out of people's mouths, they might be saying one thing. This is why I love, like, I can read people even better now. What comes out of their mouth is not always how their bodies, like motions, like I can read, like I said, body language, or see an eye twitch, or see how they space off, like they space out, or like their eyes look empty, so their words might be empty. So I analyze all this stuff. I'm very good at that. And that's why I'm a very good reader and psychic and everything else and channeler that, but like I'm a very good behavioral analyst. Now, I would have loved to have done like behavioral stuff. Well, there's still time. There's always time to do more things. But anyway, behavioral sciences and analyzing what's the true intention behind someone, because words are just one layer or factor of a person, but people read scripts all the time. They might not even mean what comes out of their mouths. Like Black Moon Lilith has been in Sagittarius for quite a bit, since last November, I think. And that has been really revelatory for me because that's my third house of Sagittarius, and the way, and like my Saturn being there with Juno, and they're retrograde. So I've done a lot of internal work of how I speak and becoming more responsible with what I express. And if I express something more roughly, that is my intention. So I've always been as transparent as I could be, as I can be, as I'm self-aware of, but I'm even more so now. And I'm very proud of myself. It has been a really fucking journey. Like, I know that spiritual awakenings come with all the things I've been talking about. Spiritual awakenings, like really big ones, especially with a Kundalini awakening or people that have NDEs. Like if you have ever had a near-death experience, the stories that I've heard have been fascinating because you come back different. I know that like, we don't know exactly. I don't have physical, tangible proof. That was one of the things that I kept on bringing up in old episodes because I was losing my mind due to certain personal reasons. Not literally, I hope not. I mean, I'm here, right? I didn't get like locked up anywhere. But I noticed that people that come back, they come back different with more knowing. So people that were not as self-aware about these spiritual concepts and stuff, I've always been a spiritual individual. I've always loved metaphysics and diving into all of these sciences as well. I like, astrology. I love philosophy. I like to learn about humanities. I love to learn about humanity because I want to become a better person in the process. And I want to be able to deliver messages that can resonate with humanity. We are not perfect. But I've noticed also there are a lot of people that spiritually bypass just because they follow this curriculum, whether it be religion, whether it be spirituality in itself or science, anything. We for whatever reason, people attach an identity to things that I'm like, I know it's the ego attaching to the identity, and it becomes louder than any other part of you. It's okay to have ego. That's part of us. It's never going to go away. But when we attach identity, for example, I'm going to use myself as an example. If I were to just make myself, my identity be, oh, I'm just a tarot reader, let's just say. And that is my whole ass identity. No, it's not. I'm multidimensional as fuck, man. I am multidimensional. When a person becomes multidimensionally self-aware, you can be here and there and everywhere all at once. Just because this physical layer of reality is the only thing that we feel, that we experience, doesn't mean that it's the only thing. And that has been one of my biggest things in my life, and because I have had so many people never be honest to my face, and not everyone, but like so much dishonesty. And there's so many, and having a Scorpio moon has its perks, but or I should call her a Hades moon because of my Pluto and Scorpio moon conjunction. But it has not been an easy time because I can read people. I've read people since I was a little kid, but people don't understand that, because some people are just not, they're not in an alliance, in alignment or in alliance with their own inner counsel. So what's running the program is the subconscious. So they're saying something, but they're not self-aware of what's truly the intention behind of what they're saying. So there's just so much that I've been learning about. And I know that, and it sounds miserable. I hate it because it's made me look at people differently. So I've had to hit those levels of rock bottom and feel compassion for humanity anyway, because we're all learning, including myself. We are always going to be a student of life, no matter how much we have no matter how much we have mastered ourselves, because that is what this journey is about, self-mastery. A lot of people go into relationships, and that has been another one that I can say this, I don't care. I am, they will make a movie of me yet. I'm a 40-year-old virgin. I have never been in a romantic relationship in my life because I have never been aligned, or people have always kept secrets from me. It has never been something that I can say, I want to go the distance with this individual because I can see how wounded they are. And sometimes I've wanted to take a chance, even though they're wounded, and we work together. But it has just never materialized in a healthy way for me. So what have I been doing? The inner work for myself, because a lot of people go into relationships. Okay. They go into relationships without doing the inner work, and they think, whatever. But again, I know that everyone's journey is different. I know for myself, I had to put myself first. I never put myself first. And Libra energy does that. And I have a North Node in Aries. What that means is, in relationships, because that's my 7th house, contracts with people and all sorts of relationships, not just people, not just romantic, but relationships with work, with anything, with anything in existence. It is important to realize your relationships, analyze them, and see what put yourself first, in the sense that you are valuable. You're worth so much more than whatever stories you've told yourself in a fit when things don't go your way. You're worth so much more than all the the people that can't face themselves in the mirror, so they project onto you. They project their own wounds back to you. And I'm going to state it again. I know I'm not perfect. I don't know what that is, even though we have had this programming in society that we have to have some form of perfection. There's no such thing. Imperfection is actually more beautiful, because that makes us equally, each and every one, equally different. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter. People attach themselves sometimes. I remember I mentioned that. I forgot to keep going with that thought, with that thread, if you will. Attach themselves to an identity. And they make it their whole, their thing. But they never go deep down into the core of themselves. And people that go into relationships, especially if they haven't done inner healing work, no shade, but all the shade at the same time. That's why relationships become toxic, because there are two unhealed individuals. And yes, you can try. Yes, that's what, relationships take certain compromises. At least in my own experiences, I haven't seen people around me with healthy relationships. And unfortunately, I came from a relationship that was not a healthy one either. My mom was never married to my dad, My dad had his wife and he got with my mom, and I happened. And it was not an easy time. I wish my parents would have known or been more self-aware of the fact that, hey, bringing a child into the world, especially like this, the way that you're doing it, do you know what's going to happen afterward? Did you really think it through? That doesn't mean I didn't love my parents, but I realized, guys, what were you thinking? And no, I'm not saying I would rather not be here, but it has not been an easy time. That's why I haven't gone baby crazy or anything like that, because it's like, even if I'm not in a, relationship, it's like, do I really want a kid? Do I want to bring someone into the world? And I can't believe I'm talking about this. This is so fifth house of me right now. This is definitely Aquarius fifth house of me, because the fifth house is fun, creativity, it's children, it's dating. And I've thought about it too. And then I get so turned off at the thought of like, oh, I want to date, but is it worth it? It's fine. The right moment will come when it comes. But honestly, that shit gets so messy, and people are so asleep about they don't see themselves in the mirror. You stand up, go brush your teeth, look at yourself in the mirror, but do you really look at yourself in the mirror? That's what I think, It's like, do you really see yourself? I didn't. It took me in this terrible freaking spiritual awakening and such disillusionment in love to realize I never did see myself. But I'm working on that, okay? I'm demystifying me. I'm going to work on it because I know there's more. There's more to the story. There's more to learning about people. Also, I saw Hades Town in the theaters. The recorded performance, and it was so beautiful. I cried. I loved it. Patrick Page is so gorgeous. I can't even. He did such a great job, even with the boot that he had on, that he had a injury, and he still did it. And he did so great. It was an amazing performance. I loved it so much. And I realized that we are the ones that create the limitations in our world. The reality of the world can be one thing, but we have control of our thoughts and our mind. And I know that for me in the past, because of my own wounds, I closed myself off. I'm still learning, guys. I'm still learning. But I'm realizing that maybe There's more to my story. I might have gone through so much hurt, but I will find my person, if you will. Or I'm a fucking romantic. Are you kidding me? I have a Venus in Leo. Come on. I have a Venus in Leo in the 11th house. I love community, but I love authenticity and truth. I'm a truth seeker. I can't stand when someone when someone is not a person of integrity or look at themselves truly in the mirror and own up to their shit. That's hot, you know? And I haven't really met someone that I would find that, you know, I haven't. Integrity is just, the bar is so low in this world, it seems. But yeah, the same thing with the celebrity readings, by the way. I went back to doing the celebrity readings, and I know I'm not going to be doing that forever. I'm very turned off by it just because I love the process of channeling and what comes through. But most people, respectfully, I say this, they don't care about the person. They care about the drama, what comes through as gossip. They don't care about an individual. Or they care if fulanito or menganito, as they say in Spanish, or like me and my Cuban heritage ass. Like if they're with someone, or they're dating someone, this, that. And it's, when I do readings, I tap into energetic psyche type readings. So I'm not doing it for gossip. And I haven't been doing that for a very long time. But I know that what's popular and what gets more clicks are the promise of predictions and gossip and drama. People can do that. I'm just not one of those readers. And I understand that people might not be into that. It is what it is. And that's why I've become so disillusioned with a lot of humanity, because it's all about, what can I get out of this situation? Instead of, let's help one another. Let's rejoice. Let's celebrate this person for existing. We are in a world where everything is about, what can I get out of it? And that has made me really sad, even more sad, because this is not new, of course. So in Demystifying Me, I will also be exploring my philosophies, my teachings, what I would like to teach and share, not just about astrology, but about the world itself, about how I feel about the world. Oops. The little top flew out. Okay. There's a song in Hadestown, and I've sang this before. Doubt comes in. That one gets me every damn time. Because you meet Orpheus, and his character is the character that, like, he's the one that brings joy and optimism, like inspiration through his music. I'm working on a song. It isn't finished yet. But when it's done, and when I sing it, spring will come again. Spring will come again. And then, when doubt comes in, he sings, I used to see the way the world could be. But now the way it is all I see. That's kind of where I'm at. And again, I'm not denying that I'm wounded still. We all have wounds. I'm open about them. I might not be telling you every little bit in piece yet, or at all, but this is what I'm comfortable sharing. This world really needs more community. Not just spaced out communities or like specific communities. I mean, like, everyone should just love each other for being human. And knowing we are wounded, we are healing. When we have communities for one thing or the other, we're creating separation anyway. That's what people don't understand. It's like, oh, I'm part of this community. And then, yes, you become part, and it becomes part of your identity. And you forget yourself. You have to know who you are before you give yourself completely to any community. Know thyself. And when you do, the world opens up for you, because the world is a mirror of what you hold inside. All right. That's it for episode 1 here. I love you guys. I'm looking forward to doing another one of these. Take care, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. All right. Bye-bye.